Guys, welcome back to the channel. As usual, I am your host, Sellssi. Today, I've got some quick updates for you. Yesterday, I brought you that story about ABDUL Rahman getting injured and being out for at least 6 weeks. Well, in a couple of weeks, 6 weeks approximately, we'll be having the World Cup. Possible replacements for ABDUL Rahman? Well, we'll be looking at that today. We're also going to talk about Kudus MOHAMMED as Napoli gets ready to face Ajax in the third Champions League group game. Kudus MOHAMMED spoke on his form, confident that he will be able to maintain it to the end of the season. We hear what Kudus had to say, and DRAMANI is confident the Black Stars will do well at the World Cup. As usual, subscribe if you have not, and click on the notification bell to get more updates. We jump right into it, the possible replacements for ABDUL Rahman. But before I get into that though, let's talk about Kudus MOHAMMED and his form this season for Ajax. He's been in blistering form since being given the opportunity to play and start. He was not given that, even though he was used in preseason to great effect and scored a lot of goals. 4 goals in 4 games actually. He was not giving the gong as the season started. Brian Brobe giving the gong ahead of the Guardian. But after coming on as a substitute and finding the back of the net, Kudus MOHAMMED never looked back. He got the start in the Champions League, provided an assist and scored his first goal, went on to the second game in the Champions League versus Liverpool, who hitherto he had suffered an injury against in his debut in the Champions League, and also found the back of the net against them. It was a great night for him. Unfortunately, ended in a defeat in that game versus Liverpool. He has moved on from there and scoring consistently in the league. They recently suffered their first loss and recently they had a draw when he started from the bench. In an interview, Kudus MOHAMMED reveals that he feels his form will last throughout the season. He's optimistic about continuing his good form at the club. Kudus, who lacked minutes at the early stages of the season, has broken into the first team while playing as a false 9, an unusual position. Speaking to Ajax TV, Kudus said while on the bench he never doubted his abilities, but admitted that his development slowed. "I never lost faith in my abilities and what I'm capable of, but it slowed down my development. But I always believed in myself regardless of the situation," he said. I think when you stay out of the pitch, you get to know the people you relate to more. You get to know that they are really close to who you are and not just because of who you are on the football field. I think it grows your relationship outside football. So as a human, it develops the other side of you. But of course, it slows down your development because you are out, he added. Kudus, who is currently Ajax's top scorer in all competitions, concluded that he has a lot more to show. "I still believe that I have a lot more to show. Yeah, even more." He scored 7 goals this season in 11 matches and provided 1 assist, and getting ready to probably be the main man for the Black Stars at the World Cup, along with Iñaki Williams, who has recently joined the Ghana Black Stars, and Tariq Lamptey. These guys are set to light up the stage for the Black Stars at Qatar 2022. Following the recent friendlies, most people have not been so confident, and basically because of the system probably Otuado is using, or lack of a system that Otuado is using. We are confident, however, that the abilities of our players can get us over the line, at least outside the group stages. Many people are not optimistic, and they are kind of pessimistic about that happening. Kudus believes in his abilities, says he has a lot to offer. Talking about Otuado's tactics and what he is using and whether it will flourish us in the World Cup, Masoud DRAMANI, assistant coach of the Ghana Black Stars, is optimistic that the Black Stars will impress at the World Cup. The assistant coach has promised that the Black Stars will come good in Qatar 2022. The Black Stars have failed to impress after suffering a 3-0 loss to Brazil and managing a 1-0 win to Nicaragua in their recent friendly matches. Despite the team's recent form, which has not been inspiring, DRAMANI insists the Black Stars will be in good shape before their first match against Portugal at the tournament, which begins in November. "We will impress because I believe we have the quality and learning curve to show, but in a modest and humble manner," he said in an interview with Graphic Sports. "There is nothing much to do but to continue with the process and get the players and staff to integrate even more to adapt to the process shortly before the first group game against Portugal, and this will be eminent in the game against Switzerland," the FC Nordsjælland coach said. The Black Stars are in Group H. Will kick off things versus Portugal. Ghana qualified by beating Nigeria. This will be our 4th appearance at the World Cup. He's optimistic. We will get there. He has to be optimistic. He's the coach of the national team, and if he is not optimistic, probably we might not have the right to be. And I'm happy he came out to say this. There's not much vote of confidence in Otto Addo leading us over the line, especially after the recent friendlies. We did not really get much confidence from the play of the players. Chances were created plenty versus Nicaragua, but finishing was abysmal. Will that improve in that only friendly game we have now left versus Switzerland? What will change before we play Portugal on November 24th? A lot definitely has to change, and Masudi DRAMANI is optimistic we will get over the line. Before we look at the replacements for ABDUL Rahman, another food of scores coming in on Coach Otto Addo, and it is from Gauka ex-chairman. He is of the opinion Otto Addo will not have an impact on the World Cup. After the Nigeria game, I didn't have any belief in our coach. In fact, I do not think he will make any impact for Ghana at the World Cup. Ghana rode on the away goal rule to eliminate Nigeria at the World Cup in the playoffs, drawing goalless in the first leg and holding the Super Eagles to a 1-1 draw in the second leg. The two matches, well, to Addo's first games in charge, he holds a record of 2 wins, 4 draws, and 2 defeats in 8 games. So that's Otto Addo's record there. And ex-Gauka man is not optimistic about him. Alaji Raji, his name is. He says he does not believe the coach can get us where we want to get to in this World Cup. Only time will tell. I like to support the coach now. It's too late for any changes. Support, and hope for the best. My final story has to do with a possible replacement for ABDUL Rahman in the Black Stars team, and I think it's pretty straightforward in that respect. Right now, we have only Gideon Mensah, who is not injured. ABDUL Rahman 6 weeks out, 6 weeks out with an injury. Reading have confirmed, and it's clear he might not make it to the World Cup. Even if he gets fit in time, probably might not be a starter. So who could get in there? The number one person I will call up is Jeffrey Schlupp. He's an obvious replacement for that position, will fit in nicely, and I think despite all the issues about him not being comfortable playing for Ghana, Jeffrey Schlupp would be a decent replacement in that respect for the Ghana Black Stars at the World Cup. I think things need to be put in place to get him there. So many issues Schlupp has had with Ghana in the past. I think they can be ironed out, and the management, if they want him, can get him to play for Ghana. So Jeffrey Schlupp comes to mind. The next person is Leroy Owusu. Most of you might know him for a right back, but Leroy as well plays as a left back. You see Jack Cancelo do it for Manchester City nicely. Leroy Owusu is one of those players who can do it. Exciting young man who has been with Velem too. He is experienced and he is great in the Eredivisie too. He's also really good, and someone who the Black Stars were looking to change his nationality because he has played with the youth sides in the Dutch teams. He can play for Ghana as well. He's someone who can also fit in nicely. And also another final one who I would pitch in there is probably Dennis Nkrumah Kosa. I think Nkrumah Kosa has played for the Ghana national team before. Left back, as a third choice left back, probably would be great there. So those are my 3 replacements. Who do you think can replace ABDUL Rahman, since it's looking likely he might not make it in time for the World Cup? Let me know your thoughts in the comments box. So that has been it for today. Talking about possible replacements for ABDUL Rahman in the Black Stars team. Kudus Mohammed optimistic about maintaining his form throughout the whole season. And Masudi DRAMANI optimistic of Ghana's chances in Qatar. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the week.